Okay, so I don't even like the word cold call. So I call it phone sales, okay? Because cold calling just, you know, I mean, everybody goes, ugh. I mean, it just has such a negative connotation. So we're going to try to change that today. And, you know, I don't think as good as even if I'm awesome, I can't possibly make you look forward to picking up the phone. But I might be able to, you know, help you at least not dread it so much and then be more effective when you do it so that you can do it less. Because the more effective you are, the less you have to do it. Now, I am a cancer survivor also. And if you notice here, this is me being Santa Claus. But my right eye is a little different than the left one. And what happened to me was, well, you guys have probably all heard my story before, right?
No.
No?
Yes, sometimes.
1,000 times. All right, I'll tell it one more time. So, it was New Year's Day, and I was out on New Year's Eve, and you know, I tend to go crazy now and then, and New Year's is a great excuse. So I was out really late New Year's Eve. I woke up the next afternoon and came out of my coma, and my eyes were all blurry, right? Which, you know, is to be expected. I had a rough night. So slowly over time, my left eye started to clear, but my right eye didn't. And then over about another day or two, the left eye was completely clear. The right eye still stayed blurry. I was like, wow, maybe I put a cigar out of that. So it went on for a couple days, and still, you know, nothing. And at the time, I was in the mortgage business, and you know, I was just 12 hours a day just slamming. So I just had other things that were more important and just blew it off. My mom's an RN. And eventually, after a couple of weeks, I was at church with my parents. I mentioned it to my mom, right? Big mistake. Well, actually, it was a good thing to save my life, but she called me every day after that. Have you been to the eye doctor yet? Have you been to the eye doctor? You know, no, Mom, not yet. I'm going to go. You know, kept just putting it off. So after about 2 weeks, she calls me and she says, you know, I just turned 40. She says, okay, I made an appointment for you on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Here's the address for your eye doctor appointment. So I'm 40 and my mom's making my doctor's appointment. I remember that morning because I have a calendar that tells me what to do all the time, and the calendar pops up and it says, you know, appointment with eye doctor, and I was like, oh, no way do I have time for that. So I grabbed the phone and canceled it, and I saw my mom, you know, right up here going, what? I was like, no. So I went, and, you know, like I said, I just turned 40, so I thought it was just, you know, maybe, you know, you hear when you turn 40, some things start to slide a little bit. I was like, well, you know, an eyeball, that's all right, I got two. And so I was picking out glasses at this optometrist's office, right? You know, they have a big wall of all the glasses. I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, those are kind of cool, and well, these make me look smart, you know, and I'm picking out my new face. But I knew I was going to need contacts. So I'm looking at the glasses, and they call me back. The doctor calls me back, I go back and sit down. The first thing they do is they dilate your eyes, right? So he dilates my eyes, and then he leaves the room. About 15 minutes later, you know, I'm going like this, and just tracers everywhere, lights, you know, because my eyes are huge. He puts that contraption up to my face, and he starts looking, and I didn't hear the phone ring, but he's on the phone. And I hear him go, no, right now, no, immediately, no, right now, you need to cancel that, you need to see this person. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, whoever he's talking about, that guy sounds screwed. and he's going on and on and on the phone, and so then he hangs up, and then he pulls the thing away from my face. And so he goes, okay, I just made you an appointment across town. And I go, wait a minute. That phone call you were just on, that was about me? And he said, yeah. I said, well, you know, I haven't been to the optometrist in like 20 years, you know, but this seems a little strange. And he goes, look, I wish I could fix what's wrong with you with glasses. He said, there's something growing in your right eye, and that's the reason your vision's blurry, is because it's growing to the size where it's starting to block your vision. So I was like, oh, great. So he says, here's the address you need to get across town. Well, I guess he had forgot to dilate my eyes. So it freaks me out. My eyes are dilated, I can't see, and then says, here, go drive. So, you know, my mind's going backflipped. I literally was driving by Braille. I mean, you know, the cars. All see it was bright lights, you know. So I found my way there. I almost got in an accident like 3 times. I found my way there, and I walk in. First thing the nurse does is hand me a clipboard and says, can you fill this out for us? I looked down and it was just white. I mean, it could have just been a blank piece of paper. I said, look at my eyes. And she goes, oh, all right, we'll take care of it. So they run me through like 3 hours of tests, over and over, all this stuff. And then finally I'm back in the doctor's office. And I know he practiced this, but he comes in, you know, they have those stools on wheels. He comes in and hits the stool and slides. He's right next to me. Hi. Right here. And he goes, so, do you like things sugar-coated? I go, yeah, I do. Don't go on. So he goes, okay, well, there's you've got a tumor growing in your right eye, and there's a 95% chance that it's cancer. That's the sugar? What if I didn't ask for the sugar? You just poke me in the eye? So I said, all right, well, what do we do next? And he goes, and he says, well, I don't think you understand what I'm telling you. And I go, no, I understand exactly what you're telling me. I got a fight on my hands. So what's next? What do we do? And luckily in the Seattle area, we've got Swedish and we have the UW Cancer Center, 2 of the best places in the world, especially for ocular melanoma, which is what I have. So I ended up going with Swedish. I went over and met with the doctor. You know, these guys, we're going to cover some communication skills. He says, okay. I said, well, first let's cover my options. He goes, all right, well, first you can do nothing and die. I'll put that one down. Can't wait to hear the second one. And then he says, okay, the second one is that you just pluck your eye out of your head and put it in a glass eye. I'm like, well, as fun as that might be at parties, I'd like to hear the third option. And he said that cancer, what they used to do for this type of cancer was they would actually pull your eyeball out of the head, make an incision in the eye, and then take the tumor out, and then sew up the eyeball and put it back in. And he said, because they're eye doctors, and so for them it was all about saving the eye. But the problem is that when they would do that and put the eye back in, that the cancer would then go through the wound, and these patients would die of liver, kidney, and lung cancer in the next couple of years. So he said they very quickly found out that when you're dealing with cancer, it's not about saving the eye or any organ, it's about saving the patient. And so at that point, they started just plugging the eyes out and put in a glass eye. And that was what they did. Well, because of the money that gets provided by what you guys do and the research that's done, there was a third option where they take your eye and they shove it down into your skull. I'm surprised my eye doesn't hurt when I say that. And then they put in a radioactive chip behind your eyeball. And then the eye pops back up, and then you keep that for a week. Then you go back in, they push the eyeball down in, and they take the chip out, and in like 85% of the cases, it burns and kills the tumor. So that was what I opted for. I mean, my vision is shot. He told me that the radiation is going to destroy your eyeball along with the cancer, but at least I got to keep my eye. And if I go like this, you guys are the most gorgeous audience I've ever seen. But so I said, all right, well, I'd like to be able to keep my eye. So I went through the surgery, I went in, and I came out, and when I was opening my eyes, I had one of those wristbands on with like the nuclear sign on it, which was, refreshing. Great. And then there's a nurse over here, and there's 2 over here. And these 2 see me start to come around. They start walking towards me. The nurse over here goes, wait, back up. He's hot. He's hot. Huh? Can you say that one more time? So then they tell me nobody can come within 10 feet of me because of the radiation. So I asked to see the doctor. The doctor comes in, and I said, so, doctor, I just have really one question for you. No one can come within 10 feet of me because of this radiation, right? And he said, yeah. And I said, and that's the radiation that's being generated by that chip that's about 1.5 inches from my brain? And he goes, yeah, that's right. That was his full explanation. Okay, stop, just checking. So for a week, I had that, in my eye, and then a week later I went back, they took it out, and then I went back in for pictures about a month later, and the doctor said the tumor looked like a beach ball that someone had let the air out of, and the whole thing had just gone concave. So it totally worked, and took care of my eye. I mean, as I said, one of the things, my mom was just writing me so much about getting to the doctor. So when I left the doctor's office, I went to her house, to my mom and dad's, and I walked in, and my mom's like, the first thing out of her mouth, of course, did you go to your eye doctor today? And I go, yeah, I did, Mom, and I have good news. She goes, good news? And I go, I don't need glasses. She goes, you don't? And I said, no, but better sit down. So then I told her the whole story. But anyway, if it wasn't for, I know for a fact that if it had been back 10 years ago, and they gave me the option to have my eyeball removed or have it cut before they knew what cancer really did, I would have gone for the cut option, just like I went for the radiation option this time. So, I mean, I definitely would have been dead, because everybody that did that, the cancer within the next couple of years killed them. And you can see, it's a lot of fun now. I have my picture taken, because people don't know until they look, and then they're like, are you wearing contacts? But that's from the radiation. So, from now, every picture I'm in, you can always tell who I am. All right, so let's get started. What do I have, like 6 hours, you said? All right, if you have less than that, it's okay. All right, let's start over here. Who's got the list?